Hello everybody, this is me again, and we're out in the beautiful, absolutely stunning Essex countryside where dreams are made and men are challenged. And today we're looking for natural forks. We're going to be going around. I'm going to be showing you some of the trees and some of the things to look out for in your area, because even though this is a deciduous broadleaf woodland that I'll be taking you to, there's actually common traits with trees all over the world, and also common trees all over the world, so you can actually have a good look, and following some basic principles you can find your own. Let's start with this. This is your goat willow, and trees that are very similar to this is dogwood, and those of you who know Rufus Hussle will know that's his catapult of choice. And it's also very similar to the ash, but makes good friction fires. You can see this here. This is what we're after. These trees with these very even sprouts is a perfect catapult right there. And the way we can tell these is usually by the leaves hanging off the branch. Now, funnily enough, this is your goat willow, and it's not pinnate, and pinnate means that they grow evenly either side, but this, you see, has a step between each one. Yeah, there it goes. I can't remember what the word is, but you see the way it grows evenly at the end where they sprout off together. This is basically what gives us these forks, and pinnate means that it happens like this in pairs all the way down the stem instead of individual step by step. So we'll be looking around for the pinnates, but these willows, dogwoods, they are real winners. And yeah, these have given me a couple of catapults in the past and will hopefully in the future. So let's have a look around. There's another one up the back there. Let's have a look around and we'll see what's going on, shall we? This is a perfect example of the structure of goat willow once it gets a bit older. And this branch here, the way it's in threes, this is very, very common. Now you can see here from the angle, if you were to make a shooter out of this, it'd be off to one side, and basically it'd be slightly awkward. You can shoot with it, of course you can. It'd be, once you get used to it, it'd be just like any other shooter. But if, funnily enough, this same tree immediately next to it, you see that? Perfectly even, absolutely perfect. That is a real beauty, and I may have to take that before it gets too large, but I won't take it today. But yeah, you see this same tree, because essentially it lost this when it was younger, gave us this. But this would have been a bit further down the branch, and the main stem up the top there would have been an even split, whereas this probably was the main original stem of the tree, and it's given us a nice even split with very uniform forks. You can see that they're almost exactly the same, and that's what we want from a good catchy fork. Just for those of you that are interested, the goat willow also provides us with good cordage and is good for friction fires too, which if I get enough requests I suppose I'll do a video. But they are going to be coming, the bushcraft videos, so just keep your eye open for those if you're interested. Wonderful example of the bristly ox tongue here with a spiny leaf. That's actually very edible and very delicious, but yeah, another edible. I mean, just this is the peak of summer, folks. Doesn't get much better than this. That is the mighty rowan, mountain ash. See the red berries on it at this time of year? The red berries, beautiful. Make a lovely side accompaniment to meat if you boil them. Anyway, it's just another catapult tree. This is another rowan, but closer up, and you can see by the leaf structure it has the pinnate leaf structure, which means there's going to be a lot of very even, very natural forks. And this this tree will serve just lovely. See this? Plums, prunus, and not good catapult forks, but damn good eating. I mean, let's just have a look at the leaf structure quickly. Now, we're not particularly interested in the actual shape of the leaves. Look at the way they join the stem. One there, one there, one there, one there. They're all off kilter. So it's much more likely that the actual branches themselves are going to be off kilter and not make not make good catapults. Summer's here, guys. Peak of summer. Yummy. Just look at all these plums. This is the wild English plum, and one of them, it's not your common black prune plum, it's a otherwise known as a cherry plum, and there's quite a few variations like and yeah, not very good for forks, but these trees have a serious danger of becoming plum jam. Yeah, serious troubles now. These guys are in real danger. Oh, okay. Okay, this is a cherry tree that I'm directly under, and even though all the birds have had the cherries, little buggers, means I can't get any. Nonetheless, this is not a pinnate tree, as you can see. Grows one, then two, then further down. See, they're very close, and on the ends this happens where it grows evenly, you see, but inevitably one falls off. But every now and again you get these, and you see those forks are perfectly even, as well as being very wide. And little spider, these forks are perfectly even. And cherry is also a very good wood. They used to make cherry desks and even boats and things like this. And cherry is one of the prunuses that I would actually use. Here's this is 1 year old, and this is the end of the stick. You see, this is the end of the shaft, and it hasn't gone. And this means that this should end up being a pretty nice catapult. But by next year, this one may very well have fallen off. It's obviously the weaker, like the runt of the litter. But anyway, yeah, this is one of the prunus I would actually use. So, keep your eye open. Cherry is actually a surprisingly good wood. It's right next to the cherry. Yummy, yummy hawthorn leaves. People used to call these bread and butter. I just call them tasty. And later on you can eat the berries as well. Now, this is the London plane, and it's a very interesting tree, but what we're interested in again is the forks. See, this is again not a pinnate, but it has that split on the end, and now you see there's more like this, you see, in these, where the it's usually much thinner, but every now and again, very rarely, it'll be one that is there. So this is one that I would actually pass by pretty quickly without checking, but nonetheless I wanted to show it to you. Here's a pretty even one, but this may not last. But yeah, this is another one to pass by pretty quickly. See that thick line of trees over there? That's where we're going, and hopefully it'll be a lot cooler in the shade, because it's pretty darn toasty out here, as you can probably hear by the crickets. And I have permission to go to this woodland, granted by the landowner's son, who's an acquaintance of mine, and yeah, this means that we can really have a good crack, and I can show you around. While we're out, I'm just reading some of the tracks in the ground. There's badger and deer, dog, human. Just having a look, because you keep your eye open when you're hunting. Anyway, now it's instantly cooler, of course. It's instantly stunning. Let me show you this. This is the woodland I do most of my training in, and it's basically nature's workshop. It's my best friend. This is the wood, and you can take me up a mountain and take me to the seashore, but really I'm at home in the woods. Can you blame me? Okay, this is one of the exceptions to the rule. This is elder, and what we have here is pinnate growth. So this is the perfect example of a pinnate structure, where they grow in pairs like that, you see? And this means that you automatically get even forks. See, there's no variation in thickness there. And the thing is, elder, if I can find a piece, yeah. Elder, as you can see, snaps very, very easily, and it has a pith. So it's got a soft innard, which is not going to make a good strong catapult. And it's good for fires. It's great for fires and for fire lighting and friction fires and things like that. But it's well, you can also make a nice straw out of it. And it's also damn impossible to get strong enough to make catapults though, which is a shame. But this leaf structure is the giveaway. This is what we want. This vine is clematis, and it's the woodsman's best friend. I'm going to be taking some of that. Okay. Now I'm going to take you to a personal spot, and I don't expect any hunting today, because the people who own this woodland hunt down here, and so most of the stuff is gone. So unless anything drastic happens, or I see a squirrel, which they don't hunt, then we're not going to get any hunting done. But that's okay. We're out here for a different reason. That's a hazel fork. We're going to talk about hazel in a minute. Okay, this is where we're going. I want to show you something when we get there. See all the dead wood? This is a hazel grove. And what we've done is, you see that pile of leaves? That is a shelter. And it's a damn good one too. Anyone been using it? No, that blue bit's new. Well, this is shelter my friend Neil and I built last year. And it's a 2-manner, it's bleeding huge. And it's really good. It's really, really good in fact. There was snow all over it and it served wonderfully. I just thought I'd show that to you, I thought you might like it. This is where we're going to be setting up anyway. Okay, let me take you around some of these trees then. This slender, elegant, graceful tree is an ash tree, and this is one of my favourites. It makes some of the best wood for tools, it's great for burning, and it's stunning as well. And if I can find some of the leaves like this one that have fallen, see this? Pinnate growth. And to me this is probably the best wood for catapults in the UK, because it's so strong and yet it's flexible, so it makes great tools like hammers and things like that. And it's obviously, this one's really, really tall, but you can find younger ones that are much smaller and they will dish out loads of good wood. And if we look around, there's plenty of firewood around, but no immediate catapults that I can see. But all this dead wood anyway, most of it would be rotten, so it's not going to be good for catapults at all. But nonetheless, this is one of the prime examples of a classic English catapult tree. And there was the mountain ash rowan. Okay, this beauty is hazel, and it's the one that gives you the cob nuts and things like this. And look, you see the pinnate again. And the good thing about hazel is, when you cut it, I don't know what it's called, but they coppice it, you see. This is an old coppice where they chop wood, and when you chop one, like 5 to 10 will grow back in its place, and providing you leave the root in. And look, it gives wonderful, wonderful forks. And this is my most common tree for making forks out of, because it is so prolific. It's just everywhere around here, and especially in a coppice like this. And so we may actually turn that one into a catty, but actually it's a bit thick. But yeah, nonetheless, this is my favourite tree for doing it. It gives all different types of shapes and sizes, but it gives some of the best forks as well. And it's a good, strong, flexible wood. It's easy to work with. It can be cut green without any damage to the tree. And if, in fact, it positively encourages it to grow back more. So if you cut it, it will give you back more. But you need permission to cut green wood, because that's technically vandalism. So you can find around bits of dead ones, but if you can actually get permission to find a hazel tree, which are everywhere, then yeah. This used to cover all of England, the hazel, and it was the prevailing tree for our ancestors. So have a look around, see what you can find. Okay, the mighty majestic oak. Look at that. Everyone knows what an oak tree looks like, or at least they should do. Most children can tell you. The leaves are very distinct, the bark, the size and shape of the tree is very distinct, and it gives off something. Well, when the branches die back and they fall, you get a thing called bone oak. And if I can find an example around, I'll show you. Okay, I'm just going to have a look for an example and I'll get back to you. This is a pretty good example of bone oak. You can see the way all the bark has gone here. This is just pure wood, and it's started to get these lumps and ridges. See that? The ridges in there. And this split here is not actually a pinnate leaf on the oak, but it is nonetheless. They grow very close and very even like that. And it wouldn't surprise me if these were the original Milborough designs, because this is a bit too big to be a catapult, obviously. But these cut to about here make great flip style catapults, absolutely brilliant. And I wonder if that was what it was. Okay, so there we have it. We have the oak trees, we have the hazel trees back there, we have the ash trees, and these are top 3 trees really, the catapults in the UK if you ask me, along with the goat willow and the dogwood. I would say the ash is probably the winner, but nonetheless they're all good trees for it. So keep your eyes open and we'll cover some more in a minute. This is a great example of the hazel and how it grows. You can see there the main stems, the thick ones. Well, right next to them, see all these young beautiful ones that make great arrows and other things of the like. And this is an example of how the hazel grows if you trim it properly. This beauty, standing alone here in the wood, is a hornbeam. And you can tell hornbeams by the bark mainly, because it's very smooth. And it has that ripply effect like it's been watered on. And the leaves are very, very small, and they have a tendency to outgrow everything. One reason or another. I believe it's because of the density of the leaf and the shade they provide. But they make, even though they're really good hard wood, they make terrible catapults because they're extremely uneven in their growth. You may be able to find a rare one, but most of the time they're very uneven and difficult. So even though they're very, very hard, I wouldn't recommend them. That's actually quite a good example of a pretty even hornbeam, but nonetheless they're difficult, so I wouldn't recommend them. Okay, this is the close-up of the hornbeam leaves, and you can see they bunch and bundle, and they're not even in growth away from the main stem. So they're not going to make good ones unless you manage to find the odd pairing, but yeah, it's worth knowing. Keep your eye open. This was created by that very rare beast, the Dipithecus shatisticus, otherwise known as the Idiotica, and it's probably children who don't know any better. Okay, I can only be here for a few seconds because of the huge amounts of mozzies on the warm day when there's all the right next to the water. Next to the water is the willows. See the way that's growing there? It's got the main trunk of the stem there, and all these shoots springing off it. And the willow is a great place, the water is a great place to find the willow, basically. I've got to get out here because of the mozzies. Okay, we're starting to enter pine country now. And this has got a couple of sycamores and birches in as well. And pine country, can you hear those moths? The pine country is a wonderful place to find wood, because there's usually lots of dead stuff around. But surprisingly, I don't usually find a lot of, that was dinner. Surprisingly, I don't find a lot of, catapults around usually. And also I find the natural pine can be very temperamental, because the board cuts seem to work out quite well. But natural pines can be very temperamental because the wood is full of resin, and as they say, if it splits well, it spits well. And they definitely split. God, I can't stand still for too long, I'll get eaten. There's a fork, I don't know what tree that is. But yeah, no, I've got to get out of here because of the moths. Absolutely everywhere. Sorry about that, folks, but pines and maple. Don't forget about them. God, I just realised I said maple. It's not maple at all, it's sycamore. Neil will kill me. He's a tree surgeon, you see. Dear, I should have got him out here. This is a bundle of dead leaves that's been chopped. Well, there was chopped live, of course. But I'm going to be collecting these. Just like that. And I'll show you why soon. Okay, we're having a fire today. We're having a fire today for 3 reasons, and that was one of them just there, the mosquitoes. But the first reason is a cup of tea. Second reason is mosquitoes. Third reason is because, well, I don't feel at home without one. But to do this, we're going to need a piece of flint. As long as it's got an edge. I carry this around with me because I like it, but as long as it's got an edge, it'll be fine. This is my fire steel, which is a traditional fire steel from a couple of 100 years ago. Not this one in particular, it was invented a couple of 100 years ago. I bought this for a £5 off eBay. And this stuff, which is not the best example of charred cloth. And you can use other plants, you can use plants actually, like elder and mushrooms, and I wish you could use mosquitoes, but you can't. I really am being beaten a lot here. Okay, we need to get this fire lit, okay, so I'm going to do that. To get the fire lit, we're going to be using some clematis and some dried leaves. Those dried leaves I collected. So let's just get this set out there. Now I've already collected the firewood, or some anyway. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, which is our clematis vine from earlier. This is you have to look this up. This is clematis vine, and it's one of the most useful things in the woodland because it gives you everything you could need for a fire. And even though I'm not going to use everything today, I'm actually going to do a technique which I prefer, which is to get dead leaves, put them in the middle, and as long as they're dry, these leaves will work. And it's been raining a bit, so the leaves on the ground are too wet, but there's always dried leaves in the woodland. You just got to look. And any type of leaf will work. But that's my bird's nest, or my packet, and I like to do things safely and securely and giving myself the best chance possible. So this is the way I do it. I could make a bed just out of clematis. I'm not going to today. Okay, I get the charred cloth and I put it on the flint like that, and then using the steel striker I strike the edge of the flint. We try and get a spark to land there. See that? Can you see that smoking and burning? That's what we want. I place that char cloth, place the char cloth just simply inside the bed of leaves. Then I best get over here and we start it going. Okay, this is actually the best condition a fire can be in for keeping away the mozzies. See the smoke? That's just ground. That's what we want. So we'll keep that topped up. When I want a cup of tea, I'll put on some wood. But now, we're going to look around for a quick fork. I think I know where one is. Okay, there's a fork, a nice hazel fork. And it's starting to rain, I think, so best hurry up. Okay folks, sorry about that, but I couldn't get this on camera because it started raining and I had to chop it down because I might forget where it was. But nonetheless, I just used my penknife saw, which I'll show you in a minute. And as you can see, this is slightly longer than you'd need, both in fork and in handle. And that's because we're going to be trimming it when it comes to it. You should always cut a bit longer, just in case of accidents or well, so you can be more delicate and more refined when it comes to the final shaping. But anyway, we're just going to sit here and outwait the rain. I'm in my lovely shelter, so we're just going to sit here and wait out the rain, and then I'm going to have a cigarette while I wait, I think. And if you look over there, you can see the sunlight is there, so hopefully it will pass by soon and we can get back to business. My fire won't go out either. Okay, bye. Don't go out. It's still raining, don't go out. The things you have to do to have a nice time in the woods, eh? Look, I had to stoke the fire again. Who'd have thought it'd rain in England, eh? Back to the shelter. Gosh, this is taking a while, so I'm going to get a cup of tea on. My fire's still going, of course. I haven't had a fire go out on me when I haven't wanted it to in years. But yeah, nonetheless, I'll get a cup of tea on while we wait. Won't be long now. There you go, water's boiling now. So I'll just use my leather pad I use for flint napping and stuff, and we'll take this over to the shelter. Enjoy that. Make a lovely cup of tea. Yummy, 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 yummy. Well, the rain's actually lightening up a bit now, so that should be good. Let me just show you this now. A little tub. My tea leaves in. This is Earl Grey. He's going straight in there. Oh, that should be about right. We'll let that sit. Actually, a little bit more. I'll just let that sit now. Let that stew and brew. Yummy. Okay, there's some powdered milk there, ready to go. So I'll just let that sit for a minute and I'll get a stick to stir it with. Yummy. God, it smells good. Here you go, that's settled now. So I just had a dash of powdered milk. In you go. Come on, there it is. Lovely. And we'll give that a stir. Had to remove the bark because it contains or harbours germs. So, just to be safe. And there we go. That's a lovely, toasty hot cup of tea. Yummy. It's lightened up a lot, so we'll be able to go back in a minute. Still raining. It's more than just a pretty hat. Okay, it is still raining, but it's a lot lighter now, and it'll be gone any minute. See there, my fire's going. See here, my cup of tea. Won't be long. Won't be long at all. Okay people, I'm sorry about that, but we're not going to be able to go outside after all because the rain has not let up just when I thought it was. But nonetheless, we can get by in the shelter anyway. Let me show you what we'll be doing then. This is a penknife saw I used to cut it down, and it's the perfect shape and size for cutting catapults with. But what we'll be using to strip it with is just the blade, the large blade here. And first of all, let me tell you that a sharp knife is much safer than a blunt one, because the sharp knife does what you want. Right, first thing we do is look for nuts and nobbins, these guys, see, because these are going to stop the blade in their tracks, and we're going to need to cut around them at first and maybe trim them out later. But essentially what we're going to do is just shave it like this. And we're going to start on the outer fork like that, a little bit on the inside, and then on the other one, up to the nub there, a little bit on the inside. And we're going to stop at all the knots. That's how you get on the inside of the fork. We're going to stop on all the knots, left-handed. And then, after doing the forks like that, flip it over and do the handle. That was easy enough. And then we come to the interesting point, the joint where the handle meets the forks. And, whoops, see, that was because I was hitting a knot there, that's why it juddered. And that's the real dodgy bit. Anytime it gets stuck like that, you've got a danger of cutting yourself. So you have to be careful. Now, I think that's just about it. See the way I turn the knife blade like that, and this is to get the inside of the forks done. Let's just do that bit there. And that turn is actually a very strong cutting technique, is to just turn, because it keeps the blade nice and stiff and in the right place. Let's just do this bit here. So that's a perfectly serviceable fork anyway, but we'll tidy it up properly. When it comes to the knots, let's use this one here as an example on the handle. See that? What we do is we get our hand right up close behind, and we're actually digging under the knot, and you see that? That actually lifts it right up, and that's a very safe way to remove the knots. Let's do that again up here. Dig under the knot slightly, whoops, and out he comes. And that leaves it open to be shaved properly, and there we have a clean prong. Let's do that again here. This is one of the biggest knots. Tell you what, let's just remove that bit there, like that. Now if you get worried using a knife because you don't usually use one, let's take that off. If you get worried using a knife because you don't usually use one, just get a piece of wood and start stripping it. Always cut away from you, never cut towards the hand, because anytime it gets stuck and jumps, or bites the wood as they say, and jumps, that'll jump right towards you. The only time I'll use a inverse cut like this is when the forks are literally in the way. The forks are actually between me and the knife. So anytime I slip, it's just going to go digging into the wood and not into my thumb, which is much better for me. That may not be for the wood. Let's get these last knots out. Dig them out, or cut them out, don't slice, don't try and strip them clean. And again with the inverse cut, see, nothing but wood in between me and my hand. There. And as you can see, in a couple of minutes, not even that, you can clean up and prepare a natural fork. A bit more down there. And there you go. This bit is actually ingrained into the wood. I would have to dig that out, just like that bit there. But, oh, actually saying that, I might be able to remove that. That's, oh yeah, it was just quite light. There you go. That got it. So yeah, sharp knife, only inverse cut when you're absolutely 100% safe, and dig out the knots. Now we'll trim off the forks. I'm going to use the saw. I won't put it on camera because it'll be a bit awkward. I'm going to trim it just about there, maybe a little higher, give room for bands. So I'm going to lose roughly 2 inches off the top. Okay, I'll get back to you. When cutting, and you get to the end of the cut, it's going to be tempting to just break it off, but most woods that you make catapults out of are going to be the softer woods, and even the harder woods will do it, most of them, and it will split. It will take off a chunk all the way down if you break it. If you apply pressure from here, or if you have a fixed pressure here and then you break this way, no. See that? If the pressure was enough, it'd break the other way, like that. Get it? So, not enough pressure, breaks down. Now, this is just the handle, and it's not bothering me. But, see that? So that's the way you want it, if you do want it. But if you're not careful, it's going to go that way. So in other words, just cut it off. Because look, that went all the way up the handle. So this is okay anyway, I can trim this up, and this is no problem for me because I work with wood all the time. But, yeah, as you can see there, just by a little bit of hastiness, you could have ruined that handle if it wasn't that little bit fatter anyway. You could have completely ruined it. So, worth bearing in mind. I'll just slide the knife over that again, make sure it's all neat and tidy. Okay, that's done. This is a catapult ready to go. It's all nice and smooth because I've got a razor sharp knife. If I wanted it any sharper, I could just strap it on my belt, because I've got a decent leather belt, and that would make it absolutely razor sharp. And I don't need sandpaper working with a knife like that. You need good steel to have a good sharp knife, and it needs to be razor to be able to do this kind of thing. But I won't need sandpaper at all, and that's ready to go. You can see I've smoothed off that handle. Probably a tiny bit more could be done, but it's not necessary. But I've smoothed off the handle, made it all nice and ready to go. And there we have a perfect natural You can't ask for anything more than that. Let's get some bands on it, shall we? There we have it. A perfect natural. You can't get much better than that when it comes to just shooting and rabbit hunting, and hopefully Rufus Hussey would be proud. We'll shoot it in a minute. When the rain lets up a little, I'll get out there and have a go. Perfect. Gosh, who comes out and builds a fire in the rain, eh? Okay, super quick because of the rain, okay? I'm just going to use some ball bearings. Hit the ground. Got him. Before he fell over as well. Okay, one final thing. I've spread the fire out. Now I'm just going to douse it. Now there is going to be no way in hell that this is going to catch anything. Okay? Not only because of the rain, but because of the way I've spread it. And I tell you now, in the UK it's illegal to start fires without permission. It's illegal to have fires on peat ground because it can set fire to the soil. It's a stupid idea to have fires anywhere where it can spread. And the surrounding area is completely clear by a good few feet. The fire is spread and doused. It's raining. And I'm going to be back here in about a day or two. So there is no chance, literally there is no chance this fire will take. The mightiest winds could come in and blow this all around, and all it's going to do is land on wet grass, and it's going to be very, very dull as well. So, not wet grass, sorry, wet leaves. But yeah, this is how you leave a camp. See that bit of rubbish there? I didn't bring that, but that's always been there. And everything I've brought is being taken away. Not a single thing is going to be left. Any wood that I've used, or haven't used, I've collected, is just going to rot away if I don't use it next time I'm here. And there is no excuse for an untidy camp. Okay? And the only reason I'm leaving here with this here is because I will be back very, very shortly. Otherwise, I'd wait for it to go out and cover it up. But I've got to go home now because it's late. It's past 6 o'clock now. It's been raining for over an hour, and I've got to go home. I'm going to have to walk home in the rain. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. A quick recap is the goat willow, the ash, the hazel, which is the one we used, the oak, and I think that was about it. Yeah, the rowan was in there obviously, but that's a secondary ash. The other trees were in there, but they weren't the best, like the hornbeam, etc. And so, yeah, that is Naturally Hunting Naturals. Bye. Thanks for watching. It's always the way, isn't it? As soon as you want to go home, or as soon as you have to go home because it's raining, it stops raining.